Brothers and sisters, aunties, uncles, and play cousins. What's good, family? It's your boy, Mr. Michael. Hey, let me go ahead and get the housekeeping out of the way before I get started because I'm going to have some fun today. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Or just if you want to support, make sure you hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? If you're not already subscribed to Old Heads Media, please go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can stay up on everything that we do over here. All right, that's the housekeeping. With that being said, I'm gonna have some fun today. I know I said I'm getting ready to get into the whole, family or the whole the Tales series. I'm gonna get into the Tales series, but I got a couple things that I got to clean up first before I get into the Tales series. Like when I just did the Money Game trilogy, everybody was saying, to complete the Money Game, trilogy, we need you to go ahead and, when you finish, knock out Money Ties. You'll see how that ties in to the trilogy. You know what I'm saying? It's the unofficial, fourth video of the Money Game trilogy. So I'm going to go ahead today and we're going to do that. I'm going to do Money Ties today. And, depending on how long it takes me to get through this, because you know how I get when I get to digging into these bars and everybody tells me that this is the one. I know that the trilogy and stuff like that had its parts, but like a lot of people been telling me like this is the one. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig into this. We're gonna check out Money Ties. And yeah. Let's have some fun. Listen, I appreciate all y'all. First of all, let me just take a little bit of second. That's not even a phrase. Let me take a little bit of time to say thank you to all of the renegades that have been, supporting Old Heads Media. I pray that y'all will continue to support. I always tell y'all, and I want to continue to tell y'all, in the same way that I found Ren through reaction, watching reactions and things like that is how, because I have people that I follow. I follow Knox. I love Knox. You know what I mean? I don't watch his videos every single day, but, when I have some time when I'm not doing my job, I like to go back and dig into some stuff. And even sometimes I'll go back and watch old reactions that he's done of songs that I've reacted to just to see if I was even close. Because he's, he be on point, and I got other people that inspired me when they went to start my channel. With that being said, always say, these reaction channels should not just be a source of you to go, follow just the people that you like. Of course, that's what you do. You follow the people that you like through these channels because that's what brings you here. But once you get in here, you know what I'm saying? A good reaction channel, their job is to introduce you to things that you have not yet heard of, and you're not going to like everything that you see on the reaction channel. But if you support that reaction channel and at least check out the stuff that they do that's outside of what your norm is, you may run across something that you like in the same way that I found Ren. You know what I mean? By checking out stuff, and 90% of the stuff that a lot of the reactors react to, I'm not a fan of. But every once in a while I'll run across something and be like, hold on, wait a minute. I really need to check that out. And that's what happened to me when I found Ren. And I've been locked in ever since. So it can happen. We discover music through various, sources. And nowadays you're not going to find new music that you love really on the radio. They're pushing we're not going to get into that diatribe right this second. All I'm saying is this channel is based around music that's pure. Now, we do cover a lot of different stuff that you may not like because it's our job to do that. But one of the things that I like to really pride myself on is I don't react to stuff that I wouldn't listen to myself. Every once in a while we'll react to a new artist that is up and coming and, so I don't know anything about the artist. So I check it out for the sake of supporting the art and supporting independent artists. But other than that, I'm not one of those ones that's reacting to everything that you see dropping. I'm not reacting to the nonsense that I wouldn't bump. No disrespect. I'm not the biggest Drake fan in the world. And I know Drake is moving the needle right this second, but you haven't seen any Drake reactions on this channel because I'm not going to react to something that I wouldn't listen to normally. I don't feel I can give you an authentic perspective on something that I know that I don't like. So that's just me keeping my integrity and keeping my honesty and being true to who I am and to the brand. So if I play something on here, generally my motto is we have a playlist on here that we've created called Bringing the Passion Back. I'm all about the authentic passion and artistry that goes into creating music. And I am a big sap of the day when music used to means something emotionally, which is why I'm like a ballad. I'm a love song guy because I love the day where men were okay to tell a woman how they felt without, oh man, you know what I'm saying, you soft. I'm a sap for them days. You know what I mean? I love love. And that sounds kind of weird for me to be saying that, you know what I'm saying, as a big old man to be saying, but I love love. I'm in love with love. I love, the love between a man and a woman. I love the man between, I love the love that happens between humans that genuinely connect to each other, and you show kindness and humility and actual empathy for people. I love the love that some people have for animals. It's like, I don't know what it is, but I'm a big sap when it comes to love. I love when people feel right, where people feel empowered by expressing love for a thing or for another or for this, that, and the other. But anyway, I said all that just to say, please continue to support the Ren reactions and things like that, but don't be afraid to click on some of the other videos, especially when we do the Bringing the Passion Back series. We also have another series called Let's Go Back. Feel free to dig into those archives as well, because in those, we're talking about pure organic music that came from the heart, and we also explore older music that may even give you a little bit of knowledge and, introspection when you're listening to some of this stuff you're listening to now. You can be like, oh, well, I see where he got that from. Or I see the only reason why I'm as knowledgeable as I am sometimes when I hear certain lyrics is because I'm also knowledgeable on music and I know where it came from. So when I hear it, I can put two and two together. The pieces of the puzzle fit. So you're never going to get the whole picture just looking at that one piece of the puzzle. You have to actually be open-minded enough to look for the rest of the pieces. So please make sure that you support my sister. When you get a chance to meet her, you will see she always says, share. Share us with others and share with us, because that's how we find good music. Anyway, I've already taken up, 5 minutes of your time just running my mouth. So let me go ahead and dig on into this. Money Ties, Ren. I see that this is 2024. So this is already 2 years old. All right, let's go. You know how I do it. I'm going to let it play through. You know what I mean? Ren, I appreciate you for allowing me to play your music through, because I like to take it in first, and then I can go back and break it down after I've taken it into my soul. And it also helps me catch these bars a little bit better. So, all right, y'all. Time to go. Ren, Money Ties. Let's get it.
Godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into the world, and we cannot take anything out of the world. But if we have food and clothing, with these we will be content. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, into a snare, into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evils. It is through this craving that some have wandered away from the path and pierced themselves with the many pangs of greed.
Hey, I'm sorry. That's powerful. Ren does like little poetic type things all the time anyway. That's powerful to start the song out. That's a conversation I actually have heard Ren say in a and I'm gonna go back, I apologize, y'all. But I have actually heard Ren say in an interview once before that he said that it's his own struggles that he has with the why of things, why this happens, or, this, that, and the other. It's his own struggles that he has with the why of things that have caused his confusion or lack of understanding or his ability to lock into any particular belief, so to speak. He said he likes to see himself as spiritual, but at the same time, that lack of why have kind of confused his journey, so to speak. But oftentimes in his songs, I'll make reference to a line that he drops when he says he's talking about this or he's talking about that. And we all know he's talking about good and evils that are in us, good and evils that are in our mind, good and evils that are in our heart. But every once in a while, he'll make spiritual, religious references. And that's dope to me, because what it tells you is he may be struggling with his connection to it because of his whys of life, but that doesn't mean that he's not knowledgeable about it. Ren is very intelligent. And I don't see Ren being that guy that talks about anything that he's not knowledgeable about. He's not just saying words to be saying words. So the beginning of this song right here, he's using scripture from the Bible. So what that tells me is, even though he struggles with his own personal connection to religion and things like that, what that tells me is that he does at least know what it says. He's educated himself on what the word says. And I don't think that this is the only word that he's connected himself to. I think that he studied all forms of religion, because in everything that he was going through in his life, with his illnesses and his mental thing that he was dealing with and all that kind of stuff, I believe that there was probably periods of all that where he was trying to find answers. So not only in his music, but also in his personal life, there were probably times where he was exploring several different things to find that why that he was struggling with. You know what I mean? Why is this happening? Why does this happen? Why do good people die? Why do children? I'm sure that there were times that he was seeking that answer. So he's knowledgeable. So I said all that just to say that when I'm pointing out the fact that he's making those references, I get a lot of people that come back to me and say, well, Ren is not this and Ren is not that. And I agree. I understand that. I know he's not. I've heard him say that he's not. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that he can't be referring to it in his lyrics for every once in a while, especially as creative as he is with his doubles and triples and things like that. So this is kind of proof positive of that he would start this song out with scripture going into relating that to the money thing, and that he's getting ready to delve into. I thought that was dope, but also those words are poetic. And the fact that they've got a young voice reading it, that touches you in a different way than if I was reading it. That's dope. Okay, let's try this again. Sorry, y'all. I know I'm supposed to let it play through first, but that hit me a little bit right there. All right, let's get back into it.
Godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into the world, and we cannot take anything out of the world. But if we have food and clothing, with these we will be content. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, into a snare, into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evils. It is through this craving that some have wandered away from the path and pierced themselves with the many pangs of greed.
Money makes the world go round. Money makes a pure man lawless, proud. Money makes a man's verb consummate the noun. Cause an action to a thing is inspired by the pound or the dollar. False prophet, preach profit and we follow. When the scholar teach dishonor, that's a bitter pill to swallow. The biggest bank robber are the banks and the politicians, but judiciary are whores, what a shocker. When we lose sight of live and let live, forget your soul is made much richer by the love that you give. If you're living just to make a living, that's all that is. And when you're lying, slowly dying, well you die with a grin. Now digging up the root of evil, money too like a blade. You can slice across the jugular or carve and create. But when the money ain't the means, but the means is the money, you start to compromise ideals for dollars, morals get bloody. Now let me tell you a little story about a boy named Bren, born March 1990 in the Celtic Welsh ends. We didn't have much, but mum and dad, they made enough to put hot meals on the table, fill our bellies full of love. A little sister fell into the picture, oh my god we loved her, made our family richer. Then we both got older, world a little colder. Life it had a way of chipping away at that shoulder. I held her and I told her, hierarchy, status exists. Sometimes the purity of youth gets snatched, leaving you stripped. You'll learn that love is not enough, it's not a world for a kid. So toughen up and buckle up, because it's it's bumpy as shit. And there'll be those who take advantage of the light in your soul. And there'll be times you feel the cup you're filling leaking with holes. And that dark can get much darker, we all must grow old. But listen up, my little sister, hold these words to your close. Keep that kind heart kind, humankind are in need. Never ever let this world make you bitter like me. Because this world needs love, and love it leaks from you, see. Sis, this world needs light, and you're the brightest I see. I see your wings have feather more than ever. Mine were torn by my oppressor. Sickness scorn me, but whatever. By your side we fly together. Give me flight when I could never. A releasing of the pressure, and the pressure makes a diamond. I will shine with you forever. Fuck greed, fuck depression, fuck bullies, fuck the jealous. Fuck every man who made you feel less than a treasure. And fuck a world that makes us feel small. Fuck the forces that divide us. Now's the time to stand tall. Because money makes the world go round. Money makes the sick boy sicker somehow. Money gets a man mug punched in his mouth. Money run the gang thug, drug money plow. Money makes open case close. Money bend love, make war, make ghosts. Money gives a poor man hope. Money saves lives, takes lives, money both. Money isn't, money's just that. Money's just a concept, people are trying. Tax up the poor man, feed up the fire. Money's just cash. Take money, take money, take money, take. Fake money, fake money, fake money, fake. Money ties, money ties, money ties, ayy. Money lies, money lies, money lies, ayy.
Yo. Just making sure no people. Oh man. Y'all right. You did it to me. I was a big fan of the Money Game trilogy. I'm not gonna lie. I love the cinematography. I love the theme. I love the way that he broke everything down. I've reacted to a lot of Ren songs so far, and I'm just getting started. And he had like his different, styles and deliveries, and the reggae and the rock and all the stuff that was infused in it. And even with the songs that I'm reacting to with him and Webby and stuff that they're doing now. But I won't lie to you. This one right here might be my favorite flow by him so far. His flow on this song was pure, organic hip hop. Like this flow was ridiculous. I love this, and he had so many. But I was. You don't know how hard it was for me to fight that pause button on the first listen. There were so many bars and connections and I's dotted and T's crossed through this whole thing. It's ridiculous. Now I got to go back and try to explain what I heard. Here comes the hard part. Y'all bear with me. This is going to be fun. And hold on, let me see. I got my Excedrin. I might have a headache after this one. That wasn't no plug. Excedrin ain't giving me $1, y'all, so I should have turned that bottle around my bag. But I need it because I might have a headache after this one. All right, let's go. I really, there were so many, even without intentionally doing it, there are so many hip hop references in there. And his flow is so crazy. Bruh. Can't believe this might be my favorite pure. This is not my favorite song. But as far as his hip hop flow, this might be my favorite one. Yeah. All right. Let's get back into it. Time to break it down. Let's go to work.
Godliness with contentment is great gain, for we brought nothing into the world, and we can.
That right there, that first line, just that first line. Godliness is contentment. Wait a minute. Hold on. I was about to screw up the words
not
already.
Take anything out of the world, but if we have food and clothing, with these we will be out of tent.
All right, my bad, y'all.
Godliness with contentment is great.
Godliness with contentment is great gain. That's a fire line. That is a fire line, and I've talked about that before on other reactions where I talked about, are we working to survive, to live, or are we working to dominate? You know what I mean? Like, I'm content with having a roof over my head, food in my mouth. My bills are paid. You know, when you get beyond that and you start thinking that I have to have more and more and more and more, that's where the problem lies. But that's godliness with contentment. I'm content with what I was given to survive this great gain. That's a fire bar. I know that wasn't a bar, that's scripture, but still.
Gain, for we brought nothing into the world, and we cannot take anything out of the world. But if we have food and clothing, with these we will be content. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, into a snare, into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evils.
That's a line that often gets misquoted from scripture. A lot of people say, money is the root of all evil. A lot of people will say that line, money is the root of all evil. Well, scripture doesn't say money is the root of all evil. It says the love of money. It says the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Meaning people's greed, basically. Greed. But anyway, sorry.
It is through this craving that some have wandered away from the path and pierced themselves with the many pangs of greed.
Money makes the world go round. Money makes a pure man, lawless, proud.
That money makes, that's a whole tie into the greed thing. Money makes, and it's not like he's saying he's compounding it. He said money makes, it's like you got making money. It's like money makes. At money makes, like at what point does it stop? Money makes the world go round. So he's saying the act of continuing to make money is the thing that motivates the world. You know what I'm saying? Money makes the world go round. That's also a fire bar too. That line's been used by so many people. I know he's a big time Nas fan. Money Makes the World Go Round is a song. If he's paying homage or tribute anywhere in there, Nas did a song with R. Kelly and Kelly Price where he did, called Money Makes the World Go Round. My favorite Money Makes the World Go Round song was done by Scarface, the rapper Scarface. He has a song called Money Makes the World Go Round. That's my favorite one. And Scarface is one of the most underrated storytellers in history of hip hop. Like when people put together their Mount Rushmore, you might have your Mount Rushmore of MCs, but if you had a Mount Rushmore of storytellers, like Scarface would be right up there. And Ren is becoming one of those. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the Money Makes the World Go Round is very popular line, or very popular like conversation in hip hop. And I think it was interesting the way he started that out. Money makes, and it's kind of like the continuation of making money, kind of applied right back to where he said, when you have enough, you should be content. But then he goes into, they want more. Money makes the world go round. Money makes what does he say? Hold on, let me make sure I caught that line right.
Pierce themselves with the many pangs of greed.
Money makes the world go round. Money makes a pure man, lawless, proud.
Yeah, money makes a pure man lawless, pause, proud. That's a bar too.
Money makes a man's verb consummate the noun, cause an action to a thing is inspired by the pound.
He flipped that. He flipped the shit out of that line. I'm sorry. I want to hear it again to make sure I say it right. But he flipped the shit out of that line.
The many pangs of greed.
Money makes the world go round. Money makes a pure man, lawless, proud. Money makes a man's verb consummate the noun, cause an action to a thing is inspired by the pound.
He spit a line. Y'all pay attention. He spit a line, then told you what the line meant, but flipped it at the same time. Money makes a man's verb consummate the noun. All right? They say consummate, like man and woman consummate a marriage. It means the coming together, the uniting, the becoming one. You know what I'm saying? So money makes a man's verb become one with the noun, consummate the noun. So he's saying a man makes, or money makes a man's actions dictate who he is, consummate the noun. But then he flipped it right back because he said an action is a thing Damn, I'm sorry, because I be talking and losing it.
Money makes a pure man, lawless, proud. Money makes a man's verb consummate the noun. Cause an action to a thing is inspired by the pound.
Okay, so there we go. Money makes man's verb consummate the noun, right? But what is a verb? It's an action. You know what I'm saying? He turns it right around and he said, because an action, a verb is an action, a noun is a thing, people, place, or thing, right? So he turns it around and says, money makes a man's verb consummate the noun, become one with the noun. So money makes a man's actions become one with the things, you know what I'm saying, with material things or with who he is or his purpose and all this, that, and the other, right? But then turns around and said, because an action, verb, to a thing, noun. So he just basically flipped the line, said it again, but said it in two different ways. He told you what the first line meant. Makes an action to a thing be inspired by the pound or the dollar, the money, right? So he says money, verb, noun, and then turns around and flips it and says action, thing, money. Fire. He's a genius the way he does that stuff.
Makes a man's verb consummate the noun. Cause an action to a thing is inspired by the pound or the dollar. False prophet, preach profit, and we follow when the...
Even that, he flipped the meanings again. False prophet, preach profit. False prophet, biblical days, prophet was basically seen as a preacher. You know what I'm saying? False prophet, preach. Prophet, preach. Prophet, preacher. Preach, prophet. So he turned around, false prophet, preach, prophet. So he went from PROPHET to PROFIT with preacher in the middle. False prophet, preach, prophet. Bruh, that's dope. He's flipping the hell out of these lines.
Thing is inspired by the pound or the dollar. False prophet, preach profit, and we follow when the scholar teach dishonor. That's a bit...
Scholar, teach. See how he's flipping these words and the meanings? Scholar, teach. Oh.
Pound or the dollar, false prophet, preach profit, and we follow when the scholar teach dishonor. That's a bit the pill to swallow. The biggest bank robber are the banks and the politicians, but you...
Now that line, I'm sorry, I got to go back to that because I caught that on the first take, and I don't know if y'all saw me when I was like, oh, I caught that bar. That was dope.
Dollar, false prophet, preach profit, and we follow when the scholar teach dishonor. That's a bit the pill to swallow. The biggest bank robber are the banks and the politicians.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm stopping it right here because of the purpose of this visual. He said the biggest bank robbers are the banks, right? Is that what he said? Damn. I hate when my mind gets wandering and I lose the words.
That's a bit the pill to swallow. The biggest bank robber are the banks and the politicians.
Yeah, the biggest bank robbers are the banks and the politicians. Pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. First of all, the visual is dope. Because while he's walking, he's saying the biggest bank robbers are the pala, but also what that looks like in the background is like how it looks when you see like the stock markets, when they show the stock markets going up or down, you know what I'm saying? That looks like a stock market sort of visual in the background. So he's saying the biggest bank robbers are the banks. And then he's walking in front of like what looks like a stock market sort of background. That's fire. That's fire. That's wordplay in a visual. That's fire. But the dopest part was he said the bank robbers are the banks and the politicians. So he's saying politicians, right? Then he says politicians. Hold on. And then goes on to talking about how they're whores, right? But if you break that line down where he says poli, P-O-L-I, now, the English language, we use I, sometimes Y. If you change that I out to a Y in that form right there, it says pali. Pala, he stops it right there, petitions. So he intentionally breaks that apart. See what I'm saying? So he's saying poly, but then talks about their whores. So he's saying that we're all in bed together. You know, what's a poly relationship is when you have multiple people, you know what I'm saying, together. So he's saying that money is in a poly relationship, the money is the man, and all these different banks and bank robbers and politicians and all that kind of stuff are the the women who all are, you get what I'm saying? So that was dope the way he broke that down. He said politicians and then into whores. So he was like, all of y'all are in love with me. Because he goes back even to consummating when he first started rapping. So basically, for lack of better words, I'm fucking all of y'all. That was dope the way he broke that down. And again, let me always say, these are my opinions. Could be way off. I was way off in the last reaction that I did because when I was listening to the Ren, I heard him say Queen, but everybody in my comments pointed out to me that he said Green. And then when I went back and listened to it again, I was like, oh, damn, I completely messed that one up. It made more sense as Green. I don't know why my ears heard Queen. But so again, I can be wrong. But that was dope the way that was broke up. To me, that's where my brain went.
Gotta teach dishonor, that's a bit the pill to swallow. The biggest bank robber are the banks and the politicians, but judiciary are whores. What?
See, but judiciary is whores. All of y'all are, you know what I'm saying? Bruh, that's bars. I'm sorry.
A shock when we lose sight of live and let live. Forget your soul is made much richer by the love that you give.
Bars, your soul is made richer by the love that you give. When we lose sight of live and let live. I'm sorry, there's nothing to break down there. I just love that.
When we lose sight of live and let live, forget your soul is made much richer by the love that you give. If you're living just to make a living, that's all that is. And
if you're living just to make a living, that's all there is. Well, I don't know how many of us, that's a powerful line right there, because especially in today, as hard as it is to survive nowadays with the economy and all that other kind of stuff going on, you get to the point to where it's like you wake up every morning, you go to work just so that you can pay your bills, you come home and then you go to sleep and get up the next morning and do it all over again. There's no time for family. There's no time for recreation. There's no time for, purpose, if that's what you want to call it. There's no time for, empathy. There's no time for giving back. There's no time for any of that other kind of stuff, because the way that this world is designed right now, they've taught you, and especially the way that the economy is going, you have no time barely just to survive, just to keep a roof over your head. All there is work, sleep, repeat. Work, sleep, repeat. We've lost sight of the true, living. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying if you're living just to make a living, bro, then bro, and that's all there is. You don't have anything else. All you have is making money. All you have is going to work. Bruh, I'm sorry. That could turn into a whole documentary video here. So let's move on.
It's made much richer by the love that you give. If you're living just to make a living, that's all that is. And when you're lying, slowly dying, will you die with a grin? Now,
that could be taken 2 days. He said, when you're lying, slowly dying. You know what I'm saying? That could be, when you're lying, when you're being untrue to yourself. When you're lying, slowly dying, when the morality, when the empathy, when the love, when the kindness, when all that stuff inside you is dying because you got to make this money by any means necessary. So when you're lying, slowly dying inside, will you lie with a grin? Will you be happy with what you did with your life, or will you be happy with who you became? But also, when you're lying, slowly dying, literally laying down in a casket when life is over for you, and you spent all this time working to pay bills, and the only thing that you're remembered by was he was a provider. You know what I'm saying? But you're not remembered for being able to have time with family. Never had, will you be happy with how you spent your time? So that could be taken both ways. Dying inside or literally dying.
Just to make a living, that's all that is. And when you're lying, slowly dying, will you die with a grin? Now digging up the root of evil, money too like a blade.
Digging up the root of evil. I thought this was a fire bar. Digging up the root of evil, because what do you use to dig up the root of a tree? The root of evil. You see what I'm saying? It even goes into what they say, money don't grow on trees or whatever, but the love of money being the root of all evil, and the root is something that grows, you know what I'm saying, and gets bigger and bigger and spread. It kind of gives that thing life. So if you're digging up the root, you would use a shovel, you know what I'm saying, to dig up the root. That's a tool. It's a garden tool to dig up a root. That's a fire bar.
Slowly dying, will you die with a grin? Now digging up the root of evil, money too like a blade. You can slice across the jugular or carve and create.
And then he goes into, because you can tell he's talking about a tree right there, because it also relates into something that we do when it comes with love and the love of money. So he's playing all into this love of money thing. When you dig up the root, shovel, but then he goes into sharp like a blade. You can cut the jugular so you can kill. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or you can carve. And what do people do? You know what I'm saying? Like even the old love things, people would carve their initials in a tree. You know what I'm saying? So he's saying, you know, he said you could kill or you could carve. You know, that's a bar. That's a bar. And I don't know if I explained that right, but these are the visuals that I'm having.
Not the root of evil, money too like a blade. You can slice across the jugular or carve and create. But when the money ain't the means, but the means is the money.
When the money ain't the means, but the means is the money. It's a fire line. But it goes back into what I was just talking about a minute ago. When the money is, see, so in the society that we live in now, the one thing we can't deny is money is necessary. Like the way that the world is structured, you can't survive without money. Money is necessary. But it's not money that's the bad thing. You know what I'm saying? It's the love of money. It's the greed of money that's the bad thing. You know what I'm saying? So trying to think of when the money ain't the means, but the means is the money. So when the money ain't the means, when I'm not satisfied, or when what me working for the money is so that I can survive, so that I can get by, and that's what I'm using the money for. Or when it gets to the point to where the money is the reason why I do these things. I'm not working for survival. Now the money controls, the money dictates my actions. You know what I'm saying? Where it becomes the thing. See, right now, my water bill, my light bill, my food, my children, the roof over my head, those are the reasons why I earn money. But when the reason why I earn money is for more money becomes the reason why I earn money, then that's when it gets bad. My family is not my thing anymore. The money becomes my thing. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm struggling, like this is blowing my mind. I think I'm struggling to explain it so that it's understandable, so that my picture in my head becomes visual to you guys. But man, all these lines are catching the hell out of me.
Across the jugular or carve and create. But when the money ain't the means, but the means is the money, you start to compromise ideals for dollars, morals get bloody. Now let me.
You start to compromise ideals for money. Morals get bloody. You start to kill off your morals. When money starts to become my thing, I start to compromise my morals. You know what I'm saying? You know, bruh.
Hard. The means, but the means is the money. You start to compromise ideals for dollars, morals get bloody. Now let me tell you a little story about a boy named Brent.
Let me tell you a little story about a boy. I've heard that line somewhere before. Let me tell you a little story about, I can't remember, and I'm not going to tie y'all up trying to figure it out right now, but I've heard that line in a hip-hop song before.
Ideals for dollars, morals get bloody. Now let me tell you a little story about a boy named Brent. Born March 1990 in the Celtic Welsh ends. We didn't have much, but mum and dad, they made enough to put hot meals on the table, fill our bellies full of love, a little.
Hey, real talk, I'm going to address that because I think a lot of us can relate to that. I remember when I was growing up, I tell people all the time, I grew up humble. I came from real humble beginnings, you know, grew up in the, what they call the hood. You know what I mean? My mother and father worked their ass off. You know, I did grow up in a 2-parent household. My mother and father both worked their ass off. And by today's standards, when I look back on our life now, it's like, man, we was poor. We was broke. How many of y'all can say that during them times when you was growing up, you didn't know? You didn't know you was poor. Because your house was so full of love. You had friends, you went outside and played. You know, the world around you, it was poor, but you didn't feel poor. Felt like I had enough. We had a roof over our head. We ate. It might not have been the best meals, but we ate. And when we sat down to eat, sat down to eat. When we sat down to eat, we were grateful for the food. Hell, back in the day, a fried bologna sandwich was everything. It was everything. Now You be like, don't nobody want no bologna. But back then, hey, we didn't complain about it. It's funny. Quick side note. I met a Hawaiian lady who kind of related to something like this. I met a Hawaiian lady that I was talking to just a few short days ago. And I went to a restaurant that they owned. And in that restaurant, some of the dishes that they had literally said spam on the menu. They had like pineapple Hawaiian spam, spam that was like wrapped in seaweed, like sushi. I know that might sound disgusting to y'all listening to it. So I asked her, I was like, what is this thing with the spam? I grew up off spam. I was like, what is this thing off the spam? And they said, and it ties into how your brain processes things and you see it as enough. This lady said, well, in Hawaii, after World War II, after the soldiers and everything else left, the nation, the island was kind of in poverty. And the thing that was left behind by the military was canned meat. That was the thing that was left behind. So a lot of people that were going through poverty and stuff like that, they didn't have any food. They got rations during World War II and after World War II. And they got rations, and those rations were canned meat, spam. And even after they left, for several years after World War II was over, they sent rations to the island for those people. And that's what they got, was canned meat. So the Hawaiians naturally did what all people do. They evolve, kind of like what they used to do with slavery and things like that. They took whatever they were given and they made meals out of it. So part of the Hawaiian culture now includes spam, because their culture took what they were given in that moment and found a way to survive off of it and turn it into a cultural, natural meal of something that to them now, when you go there, it's part of their culture. And so in her restaurant, they actually serve real Hawaiian cultural dishes, which is why you'll find spam in some of their meals. And at first, when I looked at it, I was like, what the hell is the deal with spam? But then when she explained it to me like that, I was like, oh, the thing that you're looking at is just a cheap way for you to make some money. In this restaurant, you're actually experiencing a part of their culture. Never judge a book by the cover. I thought that was dope. Anyway, I said all that just to say, going back into what he said, when we was growing up, we didn't know we was poor. We didn't know we was poor. That was what it was like. So I get what he's saying when he said, you know what I'm saying? It like he had a house full of love. And so he didn't feel poor. He had enough.
Much for mom and dad, they made enough to put hot meals on the table, fill our bellies full of love. A little sister fell into the picture. Oh my God, we loved her, made our family richer. Then we
a little sister fell into the picture. Oh my God, we loved her, made our family richer. Love, rich. That's self-explanatory. That's not about money. She made our family more fulfilled. She brought our family because love brought us the richness. That's bars.
Fell into the picture. Oh my God, we loved her, made our family richer. Then we both got older, world a little colder. Life it.
But I do have a question though, because he said we loved her. Past tense. I think he's just because I don't remember ever hearing anything about Ren's sister. I know that she's like a big purpose for him. So I never heard anything about her not being with us anymore or anything like that. So I think he's just saying loved because it's past tense. You know what I'm saying? But also that's a dope bar. And I don't even know if he meant to do that. But because he's got this hip hop thing going on, that could play into like Common. Got his old song, I Used to Love Her. Oh my God, we loved her. And then Common says, I used to love her. And he's talking about hip hop. So I know that that's not what he means, but he's a wordsmith. So he could have threw that in there just to give you a goose egg. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Made our family richer, then we both got older, world a little colder. Life it had a way of chipping away at that shoulder. I held her and I told her, hierarchy, status exists. Sometimes the purity of youth gets snatched, leaving you stripped.
That's crazy. Hierarchy. Bruh, we're not going to get into that. These are self-explanatory bars right here, which is why I'm not digging into it.
Hierarchy, status exists. Sometimes the purity of youth gets snatched, leaving you stripped. You'll learn that love is not enough. It's not a world for a kid. So toughen up and buckle up because it's bumpy as shit. And now
The world is not enough. It's not a world for a kid. Bro, bars. Toughen up. Can't be soft going out here. It's a cold, cold world. Yeah, man. Sometimes that line, though, even though it comes with purity, it comes from good intention to say, toughen up, get ready. You know what I'm saying? You got to be this and you got to be that and you got to prepare for it. And sometimes I know that that's meant with sincere intentions. Even the people that used to tell us that, man up, you know what I'm saying? Comes with pure intentions. Sometimes that's harming too. You know what I'm saying? To teach people, because then they start out conditioning themselves to be, to remove some of their empathy, to remove some of their kindness, to remove some of the things that make them who they are, because you can't be that in this world. So sometimes, while you mean well and you're trying to prepare them for this harsh world, you're also subconsciously stripping away some of the beauty that's in them, when we teach them that. So it's kind of that fine line. I want to prepare you for the world, but I also don't want you to lose your value, your purpose, your empathy, or who you are.
Hierarchy, status exists. Sometimes the purity of youth gets snatched, leaving you stripped. You'll learn that love is not enough. It's not a world for a kid. So toughen up and buckle up, because it's bumpy as shit.
Buckle up, bumpy, car scheme, but toughen up and buckle up because it's bumpy as shit. That's what I was talking about preparing them for a harsh world. But sometimes you can jeopardize the purity. That's the word, the purity that's in them with that kind of thought process.
And there'll be those who take advantage of the light in your soul. And there'll be times you feel the cup you're filling leaking with holes.
Oh man, that was a lot.
Enough, it's not a world for a kid. So toughen up and buckle up, because it's bumpy as shit. And there'll be those who take advantage of the light in your soul. And there'll be times you feel the cup you're filling leaking with holes.
There'll be those that take advantage of the light in your soul. And there'll be times that you feel the cup you're filling up, whatever, some holes. But I get the perspective of what he's saying, because it's true. You're trying to fill up your cup. There are so many people, leeching off of you is what we say. So many people, hanging on to you that they're draining you. They're draining you of the very thing that you're filling up, leaking with holes. They're draining everything out of you. So the harder you work to fill it up, the more, it's coming out the bottom of the cup. And so you just have to keep going and keep going, and you never actually get full. That's a line.
Be those who take advantage of the light in your soul. And there'll be times you feel the cup you're filling leaking with holes. And that dark can get much darker. We all must grow old. But listen up, my little sister. Hold these words to your close.
Yo, what do you say? The filling, the leaking, and dark can get much darker? Hold on.
Advantage of the light in your soul. And there'll be times you feel the cup you're filling leaking with holes. And that dark can get much darker. We all must grow old. But listen up, my little sister. Hold these words to your close. Keep that kind heart kind. Humankind are in need.
That's bars. The way that he flipped the kind. Keep that kind heart kind. Humankind. That's bars. That's bars. Nothing to break down, but that's bars.
Never ever let this world make you bitter like me. Because this world needs.
I like the way that he plays that in where he's talking to his sister, and he's basically confessing to his sister that this world has fucked me up. Everything that I've gone through with the money, with the health things, all this, that, and the other, the stuff that I've had to deal with, this world has fucked me up. But he's saying that my purpose now is to teach you how to be better than me. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. That's dope.
Must grow old, but listen up, my little sister. Hold these words to your close. Keep that kind heart kind. Humankind are in need. Never ever let this world make you bitter like me. Because this world needs love, and love it leaks from you, see.
That's a bar too, kind of, because he just got done talking about draining the cup you're filling, leaking with holes. He said, but this world needs love, and love leaks from you. So if you continue to fill your cup with love instead of all this bullshit, if you continue to fill that cup with love, then you'll find that the stuff that's leaking out of you is love. The stuff that you're being drained from is love. And that turns a negative into a positive, because it takes things, he said the cup you being full never gets filled because people are draining you. But at the same time, if what you're pouring into your cup is love, then all that's going to come out of you is love. And that turns that drainage into a good thing, because you'll be leaking love onto other people. That's dope. That's dope. He's teaching her how to take a negative and turn it into a positive. Just remember that the thing that you put in your cup has to remain pure. Pour love into your cup. Don't get caught up pouring no bullshit into your cup, because then you leak that onto other people. That's bars.
But let this world make you bitter like me, because this world needs love, and love it leaks from you, see. Sis, this world needs light, and you're the brightest I see. I see your wings have fathom.
Huh. Oh, hold on, that's a bar too.
Never ever let this world make you bitter like me, because this world needs love, and love it leaks from you, see. Sis, this world needs light, and you're the brightest I see.
He said love leaks from UC. Love leaks from UC. UC and IC are both lighting bars. They're both lighting references. I forget what the UC stands for. Damn. They all have to do with lights, like real construction lights. I forget what the UC stands for, but IC is like, it's something contact. I used to do construction, but it has to do with like the contact that it's a rating basically of the contact that your lighting system for like recessed lighting actually comes in contact with, like insulation and stuff like that. It's basically rating the fire hazard, rating of a light, a light fixture. So IC, but it's also IC is like it's a lamp. It's a lamp brand. So he's saying the world needs light, UC, and then he says UC and IC, but the world needs light, UC, and you're the brightest IC. See what I'm saying? So he's playing into the whole light scheme. He could be saying you're the brightest lamp, you're the brightest bulb, you're the bright. You see what I'm saying? He played that whole thing into a lighting scheme. That's bars.
World needs love, and love it leaks from you, see. Sis, this world needs light, and you're the brightest I see. I see your wings have feather more than ever. Mine were torn by my oppressor. Sickness scorn me, but whatever. By your side we fly together. Give me flight when I could never. A releasing of the pressure, and the pressure makes a diamond. I will shine with you forever.
Hey, hold on. Before he gets into this, okay, that relates into something that I've heard. I think one of the, because I haven't watched this video yet, but I think one of the subscribers told me about this. Ren has a big, he has a big moral compass. That's one of the things that I'm loving about Ren, is that he always wants to do the right thing, and he has empathy, and he's trying to show kindness and love in all situations. Even that shit with the Cujo, he tried to show kindness and love all the way through that until it got to the point of no return. But anyway, when it plays in with his sister, like Ren, like one of his main driving forces is his sister. And he talks about that all through this verse right here, where he's talking about, I want you to be better than me. And he's basically teaching her how not to end up like him. But also he's saying that I dealt with all these things and this, that, and other. So now I'm going to become the thing that protects you, that guides you. You know what I'm saying? So he said brightest, shining light, all that other kind of stuff. But even in this portion right here, he said, your feathers. And he said, mine were torn by my oppressor. And that could be several things. Mine were torn by my illness. Mine were torn by greed, by the people that were being greedy. Mine were torn. Oppressor can mean a whole myriad of things when it comes to Ren. But he's saying my wings were torn. But he's saying because my purpose has become you. Because now my purpose is seeing to it that you don't go down these same bumpy roads that I went down, and you have a better life than me, and that you maintain your morals and your values. Now that my purpose is you, he's saying that even though I can't fly on my own, if it was just me living just for me, you know what I'm saying, that it would be over for me. You know what I'm saying? But you are what gives me wings. You're what gives me purpose. So he's saying that we can fly together. I'm flying because of you. I don't have any wings. My wings have been torn. But because I stand beside you, you know what I'm saying? Where you help me fly. But that's powerful. That kind of brings tears to my eyes a little bit. That's kind of powerful, because that's how I feel about, as a man. That's how I feel about my children. That's how I feel. There's a man. It's powerful. That kind of gives me a little bit more insight into how he feels about his sister. His sister he's basically telling you that in this cold world, my sister is the thing, the light that I'm focusing on to keep my morals right. Because if she wasn't here, I probably would just say, fuck it. I would be one of the coldest people out here right now with everything that I've been through. But my sister is what keeps me focused on the light. That's bars.
Ever mine were torn by my oppressor. Sickness scorn me, but whatever. By your side we fly together. Give me flight when I could never. A releasing of the pressure, and the pressure makes a diamond. I will shine with you forever.
I'll shine with you forever.
Fuck greed, fuck depression, fuck bullies, fuck the jealous. Fuck every man who made you feel less than a treasure.
Yeah.
Fuck a world that makes us feel small. Fuck the forces that divide us. Now's the time to stand tall because...
Yeah, he basically saying, fuck, man. Okay, I'm with you, Ren. Fuck all of that. Everything you just said.
Money makes the world go round. Money makes the sick boy sicker somehow.
Money makes a sick boy sicker somehow. So I'm assuming in sick boy, he's talking about himself. But the greed from like the hospitals and stuff like that, somehow I went to go get help saying something was wrong with me. And because of y'all interest of money, y'all, instead of making me better, actually made me worse. Money makes a sick boy sicker somehow. Bars.
Money gets a man mugged, punched in his mouth. Money run the gang thug, drug money plow.
He's basically going through right now talking about all the things that money has corrupted.
Makes the world go round. Money makes the sick boy sicker somehow. Money gets a man mugged, punched in his mouth. Money run the gang thug, drug money plow. Money makes open case close. Money bend love, make war, make goals. Money.
Hey, that's bars. Money makes an open case close. Hey, but he was already talking about these politicians being whores. He was already talking about these money, bend laws, make wars, make ghosts, kill people. Bruh. That's dope. But I also like the way he did that close. He did that.
Punched in his mouth. Money run the gang thug, drug money plow. Money makes open case close. Money bend love, make war, make goals. Money gives a poor man hope.
But you know what? I like the way, like, hold on.
Money saves lives, takes lives, money both.
I like the way, because he's going back to all the way back to the beginning of the scripture that he said in the beginning. And the money, the greed, so kind of what I said at the beginning, the love of money being the root of all evil, greed. He's not saying money is a bad thing. So he's saying money, you know what I'm saying, can change lives. Say, you know what I'm saying, I want to make sure I say the words exactly how he said it.
Money bend love, make war, make goals. Money gives a poor man hope. Money saves lives, takes lives, money.
That part. He said money can give a poor man hope. You know what I'm saying? Money can help people. Money can save people, save lives. You know what I'm saying? But then he also said take lives. He said money's both. Money is both good and bad. Kind of relating all the way back to the Hyrian and all that other kind of stuff where he gives you kind of the duality of it, the good and the, you know what I'm saying, the good and the bad, you know what I'm saying, the evil and the good, you know what I'm saying money can both save lives and take lives. There's kind of that duality in money. You know what I mean? That's dope. That's dope the way he broke that down.
Money gives a poor man hope. Money saves lives, takes lives, money both. Money isn't, money's just that. Money's just a concept, people are trying.
Money is, money isn't, money's just that. That's right. Money is, money isn't. Money is, and it relates right back to what he said about give a poor man hope, can save lives and take lives. You know, money is, money isn't. Money is something that we need, but money isn't something that we have to, that should control us. Money's just money. Money's not the thing. Money's not your purpose. Money is something that we need, but money isn't. In so many words, he kind of flipped it. Money is something that we need, but money isn't something that we need in excess. You know what I mean? Money's just money. Don't be seeing that as your thing. That's dope.
Tax up the poor man, feed up the fire. Money.
Tax up the poor man, feed up the fat. Bars.
Just money, just cash. Take money.
And then he says it. Money's just cash. That's what I said. Money's just money. Just see it as that. Money's just money. It's not anything that you should idolize. It's just money.
Poor man, feed up the fire. Money's just cash.
And I also think that because he plays into that tax thing, which also ties back into the money game thing, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, money was actually created by man. Like money has no value. Money was a thing that they created for the purpose of taxation, which where he goes into tax up the poor. You know what I'm saying? For the rich man, because I can't remember exactly what he said, but he basically said tax up the poor. That's basically what money was created for. Money had no value. It was a system that was created for the purpose of taxation. So that's what it is. Money's just money. Like, it has no value. And when you start to realize that it does not drive a purpose, it has no value other than making the world go round. That's it. It has no purposeful value internally in you. Bro, I could go so many ways with that. I'm gonna let that go.
Up the poor man, feed up the fire. Money's just cash. Take money, take money, take money, take fake money, fake money, fake money.
See, take money, take money, take money. Just keep taking it, taking it, taking it, taking. But he says fake money, like it's not real. They print it out on paper. It's something that's made up. It's not real.
Fake money ties, money ties, money ties, eh? Money lies, money lies, money lies, eh?
Money lies, money lies. Hey, that take money, make money, make. But that goes back to the old, what's that? The Biggie and them. Make money, money, make money. You know what I'm trying to say? Old hip hop shit. But that was kind of a dope way he did that right there. But money lies, money lies. But okay, so I want to go back to something that I caught. The more I kept saying it, the more I didn't even put the two and two together as I was listening to it at first. But the more I kept saying it out of my mouth, I was like, wait a minute. He says, money ties, money ties, money ties. Money lies, money lies, money lies. Money ties. Monetize. Monetize. I remember Ren saying, now this was, I wrote it down. I heard an interview. I haven't finished the interview yet. But matter of fact, I got my notes right here in front of me. I'll tell y'all, because he said a line in one of his interviews. He made me write it down. He said, social media has made us all performers. And that line stuck to me when he said that, because he said everybody is performing for the purpose of likes, clicks, monetizing, all that other kind of stuff. Nobody's authentic anymore. That was a bar when he said that, which is why I wrote that down. I love that. But he says monetize, money lies, money lies. He's saying we're willing to do whatever it is that we need to do to make money. But also, if he's saying monetize and he's playing into the social media scheme, he says money lies. He says money will lie to you. It will convince you to do things that you don't need to do. I'm sorry, I can cut this off because the song is over. It will convince you to do things that are not authentically you in order to earn that dollar. But also for the person that's viewing, it will, he's kind of telling to you that the stuff that you're seeing is not real. It's not the real world. Like, money lies, monetize, like what you see on the internet right now, or what you're watching, or the things that drive you are not real. It's lying to you. These are people that are performing. They're performing for money. You know, that could go all the way down to social media, politicians, you know what I'm saying? You know, with all of the things. I'm not going to sit here and try to name everything or try to rack my brain like that, but everything that you see that's driven by money, you know what I'm saying? Their purpose is to make a profit. It's not to break even, it's to make a profit. And anytime you're in an industry where your purpose is to make a profit, that's where greed gets in. It's how much profit is too much profit. You know what I mean? You always want more profit. You're willing to cut jobs and take food out of people's households. You're willing to do all this, that, and the other for the purpose of profit. So how much profit is enough profit? You know what I'm saying? And that's where greed can tie into it all. So anyway, the money ties, money lies. That's dope. This whole song was fire to me. And I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it again, because as always, I know I missed stuff. I know I probably screwed up some explanations and some descriptions. I love how he tied this thing into him basically telling his sister that I'm going to teach you to be a better person than me. You know, I love that. I love that he loves his sister like that. Again, I told y'all in the video that I'm a sap for love. I love love. I love kindness. I love empathy. I love all those things. Those things drive me. And I get off track. I screw up. I get angry. I get mad. I do things wrong. I make bad decisions, all those kind of things all the time. Inside of me, my moral compass is that I want to be driven by the right forces. You know what I'm saying? So I'm one of those ones that a lot of times I don't react off emotion. I take time to think about it because I want to make sure that I'm not being driven by something that would normally drive me to do something the wrong way. Like I said, I do make mistakes, but most of the time I try to sit back and I try to process things so that I can make sure I'm making the right decision instead of, the motivated decision. And sometimes I fall short. Sometimes I'm left behind. Sometimes I miss the mark. But I'm proud of who I am because of my moral compass. And because of that, when that day comes, I will be smiling. Because if I didn't do nothing else, people will always be able to say he was a good dude. He was a good dude. Did he make mistakes? Absolutely. Were there parts of his life that he wished he could have got back? Absolutely. But was he a good dude? Was his heart right? Absolutely. So, hey, Money Ties, I'm glad y'all forced me to watch this. I'm gonna move on. I got one more that I got to do before I actually get into the tales. But this one was fun. I really like this one. And like I said, hip hop wise, this might be my favorite flow of his so far because I like that old authentic hip hop kind of flow that he had on here. That was dope. All right, y'all. That was it. Get in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what I screwed up. I know y'all will. I love y'all. Y'all know that, and y'all can't do nothing about it. All right. Till the next time, y'all. It's out.